Well, welcome. What we're looking at here today is a lightweight live Linux distribution that I have put together to use the printer port electronic projects without having to install this on your computer. It does have setup so you can install it if you want to, but it will work strictly from memory and you don't have to touch a thing. Let's look at some of the advanced features of this system. This system is, of course, designed for programming and electronics control. It's not designed as but it can be converted to a full-scale desktop for doing word processing or whatever. But this is designed for electronics operating off the printer port, either installed or running in the live version memory only. What you're seeing here, of course, is the open box desktop. If you right click anywhere out here, there is your menu. And you have a bar down here called My Stuff. I'll explain what all this is shortly. Up here at the top, if you can see it, is the Rocks panel. You can program this to be there, or you can leave it out. If you go to the My Stuff, I can cut the pin board on. Recognize this pin board. This is the Roxfiler pin board. I can open up my home folder there, or I could leave it off, and it can be turned on and off from the menu. I can go up here and use the panel. Does the same thing. And it opens up mostly folders and apps to whatever I need. Down here at the bottom is called the Tent to bar. You can use that, or let's just cut that off. Oops, gone. You can go over to the, if you look down at the bottom now, it's the XFCE4 panel, which is got a whole menu of other stuff that you can use in addition to the desktop menu. Alright, let's look at some of the list of features and programs that are available in this desktop Linux system. Well, I actually have a README file that you can click on, and here we go. This is a live Linux distro that requires no installation. It operates completely in memory. It's a lightweight distro for use on older machines. The software that I chose to use in this are all very quite functional. They work well, but they don't chew up a lot of memory. This open box system that I'm using right here generally works on about 60 meg of memory. It rarely goes over 100 meg. So that means you can use it in computers without a lot of RAM in it. Now, I have run this on a 700 megahertz with 385 meg of RAM. It was a really old machine. It worked, but it sort of drug and was slow. I would recommend 512K RAM minimum and a 1 gig processor. When I ran this on 512K and a 1600 megahertz Sampron with an old A-open board, ran like a top. This is a Debian-based system, and it's easy to upgrade or add additional packages. It's based on Wheezy. It's the same system they use on Raspberry Pi. I prefer Debian because you can get it Ubuntu repositories and all kinds of other stuff. This has been optimized and pre-programmed to use the printer port to control electronics. You do not have to program all that in, and it will work in live or installed mode. It will work on all of my printer port electronics projects without installation to a PC. The only limitations you have if you're going to save any programs in the live distribution, you're going to have to save them to a thumb drive. If we go down here at the XFCE4 panel and press this, This is the Thuner file manager. I'm using either Roxfiler or Thuner. Here is your thumb drive. It's right there on Thuner. If you're going to save your work, copy it to the thumb drive. Let's move this down a bit. This includes two desktops. It defaults to OpenBox. You can exit OpenBox and come back in under JWM if you want to. This does not use XINIT-RC, so you don't have to set that up. The OpenBox can use the Tent2 or XFCE4 panel, such as what I demonstrated earlier, or it can use this Rox panel up here, which if you don't want it, you can right-click it, remove it, and it's gone, just like that. Or you can go down the menu here if you want to, and you can cut the pin board on and off. There it is on. Go down to my stuff, I can cut it off, and so forth. Alright, let's continue on our little tour here. Note that the sudo, that's super doer permissions, are already set up, and I programmed this that you don't have to put in a password every time you need to do something that requires root privileges. What root privileges or super user privileges are things that alter the machine, such as you might want to install a new Debian package or something like that. So you don't have to give passwords and that kind of stuff. It's just sudo, whatever the command is, and off you go. By the way, this is based on a modified Watt operating system. Their website is www.planetwatt.com. I did quite a few changes in it. I removed some stuff and I added other stuff. So let's look at briefly what we have. Move the README file down a bit. I include the file manager's Roxfiler that you've seen in my other work and Thuner. It came with PCMan File Manager. I removed it because I didn't like certain things that it did. Of course, Roxfiler also includes the pin board, and it also includes this strip up here at the top if you want to use that. I also added two advanced terminal programs, LX Terminal and Rox Terminal. Unlike the originals that came with the system, these can use cut and paste and several other advanced features you can't do with the stripped down terminals they had. You have a choice of three what is called shells, bash, dash, and sh. We'll explore what those are later. As far as programming languages go, we have Python 2.7, 3.3, we also have Gainy, Idle, Beaver, and so forth. Alright, if we look up here in this folder called Programs, this is also what you actually see on the Roxfiler pin board. Here's Python 2.7 if you want it. You can pull the shell script right on up. There's 3.3 if you need it. Here is Gainy. Gainy is a very nice program. I think is superior to Idle for writing these Python programs, and I'll go over that in later on. And in addition, here is Arduino. Give it a moment to pull up. There we go. Open up. Let's select an Arduino program or something. There's one. You can program Arduino. Does everything Arduino does everywhere else. You can select a serial port off the back of the computer. This one happens to have a real serial port. By the way, this is installed, not live. This works live or installed. If you plug in your USB for Arduino, it will detect it, and that will be in your list to select from. Close that. Close that. So that is Arduino. For multimedia, I have the VLC media player, the Sims audio player, and both are drop and drag. Okay, just to give you an example. Let's move that down a bit. Let's open the folder here. This is a music folder. I put links to Sims and VLC there, but it's also, you'll find the same links right here on the pin board. But if you don't want to fool with the pin board, and like I said, this stuff is quite versatile. I put links in here. If you want to, you can just click on Sims. This looks like the Winamp that we had years ago. You can drop and drag right into there, and off it goes and plays. You can drop right on the link, and there it goes off and plays. Need to control the volume. There's Z Mixer. You can control the volume here. Most of these here are disabled because I installed Pulse Audio into the system, which is more advanced, but you can still control the master from real quick. VLC will also play all kinds of media, but they will also play music, just like that. I need an icon for VLC. Where do I get an icon? Move that over. Click on icons. It's the same one off the other. There's my VLC item. Right click. Go down to set icon. Drop and drag. And there's my icon for VLC. Recognize that one. Fun, huh? Alright, if you want to see what Pulse Audio looks like, I can get it here in the Programs folder where I made a link to it. There's your... this is what Pulse Audio looks like. Quite sophisticated. That's what I have controlling that now. Or you can go down here to the XFCE menuing system where you have Record My Desktop and Pulse Audio. I had to install them together in order to make this video. I don't need to be running it again. I also have the software in here to burn your own CDs and DVDs if you've got it installed on a machine with the appropriate burner. What else do I include in here? Text editors. This is LeafPad. We also have Beaver. Geany, besides being used for programming, is also a good text editor. Nano is a little bitty, this is something that works in a terminal or without a windowing system. If, for example, something messes up in your X11 windowing system, you might be able to use Nano to go in and change something. For the internet, I have Cupzilla and Dillo. Dillo is what I've used in other places. Yeah, it's in the this is Dillo. I use it as a utility browser. It's quick for reading web pages or material that I've stored. Or again, of course, there's Cupzilla. It is a lightweight version. It does most of what Firefox does. I won't open that. I also have AbiWord. Go here under Office. AbiWord does everything that Microsoft Word does, and it's free. And it doesn't chew up the memory or processor power. Okay, graphics. I have I added Vunior to the system. Go down here to graphics. This is Vunior. Very, very basic little picture viewer. Has several nice properties that I like about it. You can take a picture, drop and drag to it. There it is. In addition, if I cut on my pin board, you will notice that I have Vunior out here as well. I could just drop and drag to it out there. Hey, there it is. Recognize this from my other videos. When you get the live DVD, I also included all the parallel port programs and stuff in the folders. And here's the Arduino programs. You can program your Arduino to operate through the printer port to read sensors and other things. Then you can write the assorted Python programs to control the whole system. In addition, in here you'll see Genie here, it's a symbolic link, and idle here. If I need to do something with idle, I just drag it over to idle. Here is my shell, and here is my window. If I want to drag the program over to Genie, drop it there, it opens up. Let's do, for instance, I can open up multiple programs on Genie and to operate them. And you can also use Genie for C and C++ and a lot of other programming. If I was in C, for instance, I could compile it, I could build it, I could even execute it. But in this case, as you know, Python is a high-level interpreted language, so I don't have to compile or build. But if I need to execute, let's execute bitwise. It's just going to take these values and add them together. If you hit execute, it opens a terminal for you, and there it is. Your program is executed. You press enter to clear it. And this is nice because I'm using, say, a routine out of this one that I've imported over to here, and I can go back and forth making changes and testing, as where I would have to open two separate windows with idle. And here's the pin board. There is a lot of versatility in this system, and all you have to do with it is download the ISO file from my website, and you will have to burn it to a DVD. It's about a 900 meg file, but it's a completely functional system. I'm going to remove the panel. I'm going to turn off the pin board. And in a moment, I'm going to go over and log back in and show you what the GEMS window manager looks like. And the whole trick is with this, if you're using it. We'll come back to that in a moment. Before we move on and look at JWM briefly, there's a few more things I would like to bring out that's installed in the system. For the PDF reader, I have went with Foxit PDF, the version they have for Linux. In this case, this is a PDF file. This is what it looks like. Real nice interface. Nice and versatile. Does a good job. Another interesting item in the collection, it's under my stuff in the open box menu. It's called System Stats, but it's called in itself. I'm going to blow it. I'm going to blow up the text on it so you can see it. All right, what WhatsUp does, it is a system monitor. It tells you everything that's operating in the system, how much your memory you're using and cache, how much is being used, what percent of the CPU power is being chewed up. But there's a nice little additional thing to it. You can click on anything on here and kill it. If you notice down here in the corner, that's the little, it's called NM Applet. Let's see if I still see it on there. Yep. It's this thing, NM Applet, that tells you if you're connected to the internet or not. If I can choose anything that's running in the background and just kill it. In fact, I can kill what's up with its own kill function. As I said, as I've showed you down here, we had I can cut the XFCE4 panel off or on. I can cut the tint 2 on and off. Okay, the reason that looks funny, I have to go back here. I can actually reset the wallpaper, and there's what the tint 2 bar looks like. I can turn this panel on and off. I can turn the pin board on and off with the panel, or any combination I want. The reason I did it like that, because if you're in the live configuration, you might want different combinations, and I leave you the ability to do it. But if you're going to install this, you have under My Stuff, once you get it installed, come down here, it says Edit Open Box, and click on it. This is a file called AutoStart, and you will see listed down here what default programs you want. Here's FEH, that does the backgrounds. Tint 2 is the bar down here. There's the XFCE4 panel. There is the ROX pin board. That's Volti. That's a little tray volume control. The ROX -- top. That's the panel up here. Once you get it installed, you can have it default to do whatever you want to do. I'm going to default the system when you get it and download it. You'll have the background that you saw with the little baby penguin or whatever I choose to sit there. You'll have the Tint 2 bar, and you'll have the ROX strip at the top, which, by the way, you can open Thuner File Manager if you need it. You can open LeafPad, that's a text editor. You can open up a terminal, or you can exit the system, or you got all these over here to use for whatever. But once you decide what combination you want, and you notice here, this will comment out anything that's here. Then you go ahead and save it. Close it out. I'm going to go ahead and cut the pin board off. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And now finally we'll take a quick look at JWM, and that should complete this video. Catch you back in a moment. I have to log out and then come back in. Yes, I want to save that.